Okay, so continuing my little breakdown of the recent Q&A that TFW 2005 did with Mark, who is one of the lead designers for Transformers at Hasbro. There are some questions here that I picked for today's video that I want to talk about a bit more and give more of an in-depth discussion, speculation, and my own opinion on these answers to these questions that TFW gave Mark here. So without further ado, let's get right down to the nitty-gritty. So first up here, the question is, will there be Cyberworld toys for older collectors like the Earthspark Deluxes? And Mark answers with, I don't have information on the future plans for Cyberworld toys, but I'm stoked I was able to do the Mega Bull design and get the Skybite car though. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the designs we've been seeing for Cyberworld have been a bit more inventive and interesting to look at than more recent cartoons the last few years, I'd say, especially Earthspark and Cyberverse. But this answer here doesn't really give me much hope in terms of getting more collector-based figures based off of these designs, you know? It's kind of strange, like we finally get more interesting and different designs than usual for characters, but then it seems like they took away the more collector-oriented slot with Warrior Class and Deluxe Class, but then these were wasted with the crappy Earthspark and Cyberverse figures, like the same evergreen designs that we've been getting for the last 10 years, but they just give it on a $25 deluxe that frankly really isn't even that good. But, you know, we could have had a Skybite card deluxe, a Mega Bull design. I've been saying this for a while, they need to reintroduce Voyager and Leader Class into these new cartoon, more so collector-oriented sublines. I would love a Leader Class Scorponok and stuff, but I don't know, it seems like based off of this answer here, there's really not going to be any more serious figures in the Cyberworld toy line this time around, which is really disappointing, especially with how much better these designs seem to be for these characters this go around. And you gotta chalk it up to how the Earthspark and Cyberverse sales went. Because of their focus on crappy, very cheaply made gimmick-based toys, the sales for the Deluxes and Warrior Class figures also suffered. So, and Hasbro's finally realizing that, and because of the low amount of money they made, they're not going to be doing Deluxes and Warrior Class, it seems like, for Cyberworld. Now, it could just be a thing of he doesn't want to reveal plans with this answer here, and they still could be doing Deluxe and Warrior Class figures, or just Deluxe or Warrior, either or. But I don't know, usually he would be more enthusiastic about adding more to a line, and he says yes to something. But right here, it seems like he's kindly saying no, or like softly saying that we don't have plans for that with this toy line. That may just be me looking at things wrong with his answer here, but that's what it seems like. And it's really sad that these fire Cyberworld designs have to pay for the incompetence, basically, of what happened with Earthspark and the Cyberverse sales. So, yeah, I'm not really happy about this answer, but it does make sense with what's been going on recently with these new cartoon toy lines. But at the same time, if Hasbro just kind of listened to the fans here and stopped doing these cheap gimmick figures that don't sell, little kids don't even want to buy these, and they just take up shelf space, they clog, they go on clearance, and they ultimately get thrown out, and Hasbro loses money, and then they think everything's the problem, and they got to scale back and make everything cheaper yet again, which it's just the case of just make more collector-oriented product. I mean, most people buying these Cyberworld figures are not little kids. Like, dudes who are adults do not want to play with a $60 brick gimmick toy. I mean, some do. I mean, I'm not saying get rid of those fully, but cater to more of the collector-oriented stuff that we get with Generations, and you would see a lot more sales with the new cartoon toy lines. But I don't know, it seems like at this point Hasbro is not going to listen to what people want with these new cartoon toy lines. And then another answer, or a question and answer here is, do you want to do more of the Izers in the future? And Mark answers with, yes, personally, I would love insectinizers. So I feel like he's kind of sort of putting out his own idea that he's been thinking about and possibly working on recently to bring into the future of the collector line. And it seems like they did take a break on the Weaponizers the last year or two. I can't remember when was the last Weaponizer we got. I think it was 2023 with the Junkions, which was really cool. I think that's one of the more better modern ideas in terms of new stuff within the Transformers lore and gimmicks within the main line for Transformers. So hopefully they bring it back either next year or the year after. And they're not like trying to do some budget cuts and not do that type of Weaponizer gimmick anymore. That could be the case. You never know with what Hasbro is planning. It seems like we may not be getting Weaponizers for next year either, just going by a lot of the listings we've gotten already for next year. But I could be wrong. There's still a lot of stuff we don't know about yet for 2026. We don't have listings for, so we're just going to have to wait and see with that. I would really like if they did do Insectinizers, because that seems like an idea that may top doing Junkions, regular Weaponizers that we got during the War for Cybertron trilogy, because you could add something so much more to the designs of your characters. You could even add, like, I know some people aren't going to like this, but a Bayverse flair to stuff with the Insecticon parts on characters and weapons. It just gives that more detailed, crazy, bug-looking feel that you see with a lot of Bayverse designs. I don't know, it just opens up a lot of different possibilities for stuff you could do, similarly to the Junkions, in a way that you wouldn't get with doing regular robot weaponizers and guns to plug onto figures. Like, if it's more unorthodox shapes and weapons and designs to add on to characters, that just seems a lot more fun to me. And that's something that you would get with the Insecticons because of them obviously turning into bugs, their designs being a bit more weirder than your typical symmetrical, blocky robot. And I feel like it would have a similar fashion and be very popular with the fans and sell very well like it did with the Junkion Weaponizers because of that unorthodox feel you get with that gimmick with the design. So I'm really open to this, and hopefully this idea he brought to light here does get realized at some point in the near future. Another question and answer here is, could there be another Galvatron release with more paint/retooled parts? And Mark answers with, that one satisfied my thirst. I wouldn't mind a deluxe one, honestly, especially since it's been a while since we just had the tank version. A new Galvatron on a smaller scale could be quite interesting and refreshing. So this is one that really stood out to me because there really hasn't been a lot of representation for the Universe era of Transformers in the 2000s, especially Universe 2.0. We have gotten quite a few repaints for Universe 1 stuff, but when it comes to 2.0, that's something that's honestly a bit more tricky because it was mostly just character redos. It wasn't really new stuff or new repaints. Like, you did have those, but it wasn't as much as Universe 1.0. It was mostly just IDW stuff or reimaginings of characters. So hopefully we do get more stuff from like the classics designs and Universe 2.0, just that whole era, that 3 years of basically the precursor to the Generations line, 2006 to 2009. There's a lot of possibilities for updates that we could get that they haven't tapped into yet, which would be pretty exciting to see, especially with this Galvatron design. They really did butcher that deluxe class back in the day. It was really fiddly, just not a good figure at all from what I remember. So hopefully instead of them doing a deluxe again, because it just seems like they would be retreading same old water and possibly making the same mistakes, maybe even worse this time around due to just how they make deluxe figures nowadays and budget cuts. So hopefully if they do this Universe 2.0 Galvatron design, it would be more so a Voyager class or maybe even a Leader class. I mean, Galvatron sells. People want Galvatron, Megatron figures at Leader class, Voyager class. And I just think doing them at Deluxe would be a bit redundant and a bit against what Hasbro Transformers are going for right now, which is scale accuracy, more of a collector-oriented line, stuff that is better for toy photography or stop motions in scale with each other. So I don't think that would be a good idea, but I would love to see that at Voyager or Leader class. Another question and answer here is, will more Pretender updates happen? And Mark answers with, Pretenders are a really complicated nut to crack. Unfortunately, I know the scales were all over when we came up with merging the shells with the bots. Some liked it, some didn't. I've got some concepts I've thrown around for trying to really rebirth the shells to make sense. Not too shabby ideas, just gotta try to fit in somehow. So this is an answer that, when you're asked about Pretenders and you're a designer nowadays, it's an answer that I would expect from one of these guys. So the thing that really got me here is the ideas that they're working on. They're obviously still actively trying to do more Pretenders from this answer Mark gave here. But the question is, when will these release? What characters are they going to do? And how will the engineering be done? For me personally, I don't really get what's so hard about doing modern day Pretenders. I think if they're all just leader class figures, like just do one Pretender a year. It just takes up one leader class slot. I mean, if you look at things, certainly it could be a waste of a slot a year, but a lot of people want Pretenders. Pretenders are a very popular gimmick within the Transformers mythos and fandom, so I think everybody would be on board with this, including myself. Like, just do them at leader class and make the inner robots like Deluxe or Voyager class sized. Do the shell and give them a weapon or two, maybe some effects or something, I don't know. And boom, you got a leader class Pretender figure. Give us a bludgeon. Like, we just need Pretenders that are accurate. And I don't know what the holdup is. I don't know what the difficulty is behind the scenes. Maybe it's some budget reason. Maybe it's character selections and they don't want to take a risk making a leader class of these from marketing or the higher ups like the suits and stuff, because ultimately I don't think the designers make the final decisions on what characters get made in these lines. So it could be stuff like that behind the scenes that we just don't know about. But who knows? I just really want to see more accurate Pretenders. And the last Q&A that I want to go over here is, do you want to make Armada Jetfire, and what size class would he be? And Mark answers with, he would have to be Commander to be able to attach to the Commander Armada Optimus we did. He would be pretty dope. I know Hisui-san wants him. So this goes in line with the rumors that we've been hearing for the last year about them actively developing an Armada Jetfire at Commander class. And we did get confirmation like a week or two ago that the Commander for 2026 is tied between, I think JT Prime said like 3 or 4 characters he listed, and one of them was Armada Jetfire. So it's just a matter of time before we get him at Commander class. A lot of people have been saying he should be Leader class the last couple of years, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. He would not be good enough. He would be a bit too small. He would be too floppy. He needs ratchet joints. And as sad as it is to say, leader class nowadays just will not give you sturdy ratchet joints all over the figure. It won't give you that big size that he would need to be to fit with Armada Optimus. So this is a good answer here. I really do like that he's basically confirming that maybe the rumors are true, that we are getting a Commander class Jetfire at some point, which would be amazing to see. But yeah, guys, that's it for some of the questions and answers I wanted to go over for this video. I'm probably going to do one or two more videos going over some extra Q&As here. But yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments below. How do y'all feel about the answers Mark gave here to these questions? And yeah, thank y'all for watching this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye!